Hello, my beautiful people. For those that don't know me, my name is Despina, and I'm so excited today because today we'll talk about something very fascinating to me: health, food, how we treat our bodies, how we treat our spirit. Because at the end of the day, everything is connected. And I've done so much research around this subject in the past weeks because this means so much to me. And if it means and speaks to me, I know it speaks to you. I talk to a lot of you online, and I know this can help so many of you. I had my own story of depression and also polycystic ovaries and also other health issues that I come to heal. And so what I'm going to talk about today is so important to remember, so important for us to understand. And so I'm so excited. So if you haven't followed us here, Crystalswithin, yet, go ahead, follow this channel, like this video, because I am on a mission to spread awareness as to who we truly are as spiritual souls, and our body and the food we eat plays a huge role with that. And that's why I'm talking about it today, and I'm so excited. And of course, one last thing before I start, please share this video because it does help. When you like this video, when you share, when you comment, it really does help spread the video out there. So spreading the message out there even more. So I would appreciate that help from you. So let's go ahead and chat about this important video that I've been doing research for the longest. And I come to realize that the speed of everything around us right now is just too fast for us as a species, too fast for us as a spiritual soul. And I know this because if you look around, we're not present. And we are not in the moment. We are not in the moment, even when we're with our loved ones. Even if they're there with us, we're not with them, truly being present with them. And we don't spend enough time fully being present with each other's presence in general, or even being present with ourselves. And that's because we can be with somebody and then we're worrying about our phone, checking our social media all the time, or the deadlines we have, or the bills we have. And the fascinating thing is that when that happens, certain hormones are being released in our body with the stress that comes with all of that and not being present. And that is leading us to a lot of diseases, which stem from an energetic block because we are not present. And based on a huge amount of research I've done and I've seen, 2/3 of the population here in the US alone, over 30, are overweight. And 30% of that 2/3 of the population that is overweight are on medication about high cholesterol, about high blood pressure, about all those things that can be preventable. And we are right now the unhealthiest people in the history of the world, in the history of humankind. And this is keep getting worse and keep getting worse. And most Americans especially live in the darker age of nutrition, because the lifestyle we have here in America, it's not only nutritionally insufficient, it's actually very dangerous for us. And then when we get a headache, right, because of all that stress, or because of the nutrition we feed our body, because of the food we feed our body, we go to the doctor, and the natural thing that we see is the doctor gives us pills about our headache, about a disease, about a problem. And then the pill, it's even more toxic stuff than are not natural for us. And whatever pain we have, here's a pill. And we as patients, we go to these doctors and we learn not to even question that. We learn to just accept that this is our reality right now. And for us, it's like the normal thing to do when we go to a doctor. We expect that. And it was a point where we didn't know what we were doing as far as medicine. It was a point that we were just experimenting with these things, experimenting with everything naturally, because that's how we find solutions, right? But now we see that whatever we have been doing is not working because our health as a whole is getting worse and worse. And so now it's time to start talking about a more holistic way to heal things. And that's why I'm doing this video. And it's time for us to start understanding the more holistic approach on how to find alignment with our bodies, alignment with our mind. And I know for myself, when I incorporate nature into my life, not only with food, but also grounding myself when I go to the park or allowing sunlight to touch my body, I intuitively feel more healthy. I feel more balanced. I feel more in alignment with my body. And I have a history of polycystic ovaries. If you guys follow me on social media, I already share my story with that. I have my also story of depression and so many other health issues. And I come to see for myself that the way I went about it and heal myself with this stuff, it was a holistic approach that helped me the most, and is the most sustainable for me, and the more long-term way when it comes to healing, to keep away from these diseases, whether they're mental or physical or anything else you might be experiencing. And right now, if you look around, it is the best time, and at the same time, it is the worst time for us ever, because it is the best time because we have all of these resources, but also it's the worst time because we have all of these temptations at the same time. So if you wake up today and you told yourself, I give up on myself, I give up on finding a solution with this, I just give up on myself, then that's a choice that you make, and what we focus on, it usually grows, right? So if we look for what's possible, on the other hand, then we'll find what's possible. I always tell people, close your eyes for a second and think of the color red. Like literally close your eyes with me and think of the color red for a second. Think of the color red, and as you open your eyes, I want you to look for the color red around you. Literally look for the color red. So for me, as I look, I find the color red around me. So what we think, we look for, and what we look for, we always find. So therefore, it's up to the choices we make, what approach we have towards our health, towards ourselves. And it all comes down to how we view ourselves. And the way we eat, we have to understand that the way we eat affects the way we think, affects the way we feel, affects the way we move our bodies. It literally affects everything, because food itself also is energy. It's not just us that we're energy, also our food is energy. And when I talk about this, I'm not talking about falling into the trap of the diet culture. I'm talking about learning to intuitively respect this vessel that is called our body. And the number one thing that can get us to this intuitive approach is if we feel empowered and if we believe in ourselves so much that we can do this. For me, I remember I was diagnosed with polycystic ovaries when I was 16. And so at 21, I found myself saying, I don't want to do this anymore, because what the doctors told me, just take these pills for the rest of my life, right? So at 21, I find myself being sick and tired of taking these pills. So I told myself, I will find a way to make this happen for me, to heal the holistic way. And I changed everything as the way I was viewing my polycystic ovaries. So I changed the way I was eating. I changed the way I was treating myself as far as energy. So I started meditating. So I stopped eating sugar. I stopped eating meat. I stopped doing a lot of things in my everyday life. And I also went to a holistic doctor. It was an herbalist, Chinese medicine doctor, and he was giving me certain herbs. And within 6 months, I go to the doctor again to check my polycystic ovaries. My polycystic ovaries weren't there no more. I'm now 30. It's been 9 years later, and my polycystic ovaries never appear back in my body. So for me, that alone made me realize the power of healing within ourselves, the power of healing we have within us. And that's why we are called crystals within, because we know crystals, that they have healing powers, but actually we are our own crystal. We have within us our own healing powers, and also we have access to that on a daily basis. We can tap into that at any point we decide to tap into that. And why do I say that? Because all is energy, and each chakra, each of the chakras is also connected to specific foods and specific organs as well. I have a graphic on that on my Instagram, so go ahead and check it out. I'll put the Instagram link below. Make sure you're following the right one, because I know some people are copying my Instagram, so make sure you're following the right Instagram account. And I post the graphics as far as chakras, when it comes to food, when it comes to organs, when it comes to herbs. So make sure you check that out. And another thing is that originally, as a species, we come from a diet that is coming from eating fruits, eating vegetables, eating nuts, and a very small amount of proteins. And that was the way we humans would eat for thousands of years. And when you use the right nutrition, and when you use the power of your body to heal, because our body intuitively knows how to heal. If you think about it, when you get a scar, right? Look at nature, look at animals, look at ourselves. When we get a scar, what happens in our body? We automatically start to heal. It's not we think about it. Intuitively, our body knows how to heal. Why? Because we're energy. And so your body intuitively knows how to heal from everything, because everything stems from energy. And all that comes with mental illness as well, with physical illnesses and diseases, because it's in our DNA to heal. And we can see that from nature, we can see that from animals, we can see that with our own bodies, because we automatically heal. We don't question a scar, it automatically heals. So the same thing with our body, the same thing for me when I experienced my depression in the past, or my polycystic ovaries. My body automatically knew how to heal when I started shifting that energy, when I started shifting my habits. And think about it. Why do you think the placebo effect works? Why do you think the placebo effect works? And if you, for those that don't know what a placebo effect is, it's a research that was done. It was, let's say 50-50 of people were taking the actual pill of healing something. Let's say they were experiencing depression. They gave them the actual depressive pill, 50% of the people. And the other 50% of the people, they gave them like a sugar pill, telling them that is the actual pill. And both groups got the same exact results. Both groups were getting the same exact results. And half of the group, half of the people, were not even taking the pill. And that tells you the power of the mind, the power of the energy. Because if you think about it, everything started with a thought. The beginning of the universe, we see everything started with a thought, and the universe asking the question, I wonder who else can I be? What else can I become? So within us, we have the power of manifestation. We have the power to heal with anything if we choose to make that choice to shift our energy. And we live in a culture that we go to a doctor with a disease, right? And instead of recommending a habitual change in food or in lifestyle, we automatically get prescribed with pills. We're not even given the option sometimes of, we go to the doctor with a headache, and sometimes the doctor doesn't even ask us about our habits. Are you stressed? What's going on with your diet? They automatically give you a pill. And if you think about it, all we hear in general in our culture is about detecting and treating a disease, right? We want to detect it and treat it. For example, cancer, right? We detect it and then we treat it with chemotherapy or whatever it is, instead of us focusing on what we can do to never experience something such as cancer to begin with, right? And that goes with everything when it comes to sickness. We talk about detecting and treating, but we never really talk about what's the root cause of something. How can we prevent getting cancer in the first place, or any other disease, right? And that goes with everything. And it's like, I look around and it's like we live in a fairy tale, because we have fallen into this trap of the magic pill, when in reality, we are the magic pill. That magic can happen within us. And the things that we have been shown to make a change when it comes to these things, when it comes to diseases or even mental health stuff, is nutrition, is exercising, and also our state of being, our energy. And if you think about it, why the cause of some diseases is unknown, why the cause of cancer is unknown until this day, because all stems from energy. It all stems from energy that we carry and we feed our body with the food we eat, with the way we treat our energy, with the way we treat ourselves in our daily lives. And we're so brainwashed that we have convinced ourselves that we don't have time to work out, we don't have time to move our body, we don't have time to meditate, right? And we find time to go for a drink with a friend. We find time to even go to the doctor, right? Because when we're given no option, we find the time to do things. And if you look at the countries with the people with the longest lifespan that the people live in, in these countries, they eat a lot of veggies, they eat a lot of fruits, and a low meat diet, and they also practice some form of prayer or some form of meditation where they are present during some time of the day. And we also believe, another thing we believe is that a misconception is that getting older means getting sicker, when in reality there's, again, tons of research that shows that if we take care of ourselves, if we take care of ourselves nutritionally and energetically, then that's not the case. And even if you're watching this, as you're watching this and as I speak and you hear this stuff and you have something going on in your health, I want you to know that there's ways to reverse that. With some simple changes of food and your energy exchange. That's why I created my Chakra Course, because I'm so passionate when it comes to energy healing. I'm so passionate, a believer that once we learn how to tap to our energy, we can change energetically even our DNA. And so check out my course. The link is in my bio. It's so powerful for us to understand the power we have within. It's truly my purpose, especially because of my past with polycystic ovaries, with depression, that I found healing within me. And that's why I'm so proud of this course. So go ahead and check that out. Post the link below if you haven't yet. And if you do have, I know you have experienced amazing results, and I'm so proud of you for that. So another thing with getting older, I want you to know that getting older isn't a sad thing. Getting older is actually a beautiful story. It's a beautiful thing to get older. And some people say, another thing people say is genetics, right? Oh, it's genetics. Well, by this point, right now where we are at, there's also, again, tons of research that shows us that's not the case again. And only if we trigger a genetic, then and only then that genetic can appear, but only if we trigger it. And that's why in spirituality we talk about breaking generational trauma, breaking generational chains, and that not only has to do with the way we act, the way we perform in our everyday life, but also it has to do with genetics. It truly has to do with our genes as well, because again, all is energy. Our mind, body, and spirit, all of these are connected. And I look back at my whole family, right? And my whole family experiences a health issue. My mom, my dad, my sister, my grandmother, all of them, all my bloodline experiences health issues. From my dad's side, it's getting heart attacks, heart issues, right? Every single one of them. From my mom's side, other health issues. And I look at me, because I decided to make that lifestyle change. I am literally so healthy. Literally, I take no pills. I only take herbs. I'm literally so healthy. So again, if it was genetic, I would have experienced certain things myself. And so if it's genetic, then if you look at, for example, another thing, then why now more than ever, cancer is such a common thing? We hear in every family somebody has died from cancer. Why now more than ever is such a common thing? Because if it's genetics, then how come it wasn't such a common thing a few hundred years ago? But why is it such a common thing now, but not 100 years ago, right? So that whole genetic story, it's not accurate. Epigenetics say that there's lifestyle factors that can either suppress or express that gene. So yeah, of course, yeah. So we have a genetic weakness, a lot of us, right? Because it comes from our background, but it will never manifest into our reality unless we trigger that genetic weakness by either our energy or our lifestyle, right? For example, I know my mom eats very healthy, and that's why I learned to grow up eating very healthy. But on the flip side, she's daily stressed. So that is causing her certain things. So it's not just the food we eat, it's also the way we treat ourselves. And that goes to being a vegan. You can be a vegan, but be unhealthy. So again, it all comes down to all the healthy choices we make. You will notice that when you cut out all these things with these long names, I go to the grocery store now and I check the labels. And sometimes I see names I don't even recognize. I'm like, what is that? What the hell is that? And when we start cutting out those things with those long names in our pre-made food, in our canned food, you will notice that you will start think clearer. You will feel more alive as a person. For me, that I have a background of depression, I notice every time I eat sugar that for the next few days, I feel energetically drained. I literally feel energetically drained. So for me, my body speaks to me because I learned to listen. And so you will notice for yourself too that once you stop feeding your body with these things, you will notice how your body responds to you differently. And people say all the time, you are what you eat. I say that you eat what you are. So we're not what we eat. We eat what we believe we are. So we treat our bodies what we believe we subconsciously deserve. And it all starts with what we believe our body and spirit deserves. Because if we believe we don't care anymore about our body, we're gonna reflect that. We're gonna eat that, right? If we believe that we love our body so much, we love our health so much, that we're making the conscious choice to eat healthy, then we're gonna manifest that. So our habits reflect that we believe about ourselves. And all that comes down to eating, our daily practices, our daily habits with everything, right? With the boundaries we set with ourselves, with everything. And the fascinating thing is that 50 to 100 years ago, Americans spent 3 times as much more money, 3 times as more money on food than they spend today. 50 to 100 years ago, and now we're making more money, right? And we're actually right now are spending less in food today than ever in the history. And that's because we bought into the idea of packed food and fast food. And we bought into the idea that's what we deserve. That's the best thing we can do for ourselves because of our busy lives. And yet at the same time, notice how brainwashed we are, because we spend 3 times less in food, but at the same time right now currently we're spending 10 times more in medical care. 10 times more in medical care than those previous years. And so we choose to spend more in our medical bills and less than having a healthier food approach, taking care of ourselves. That's how brainwashed we are. And I want to encourage you, if you're blessed to have a garden, if you're blessed to have a backyard, grow a garden. Take advantage of that. I live in New York, so I can't really do that. But if you do have a garden, take advantage of that. And it's so easy. It's so easy and so accessible to us if we wish. And beans also for a protein will actually work in your favor. We actually don't need meat. We don't need animal products. We don't need dairy products. And all of those processed food with these beautiful labels that are marketed so beautifully and so well, we don't need that. If you notice, when you go to the candy aisle, why is there so many colorful packaging? Because colors subconsciously attract us. So they put that in a package and we buy into that. We buy into that, and not only that, we give it to our children. The other day, I made pistachio milk at home, and it was the best freaking milk I've ever tasted in my life. It was the best thing ever. And it wasn't only because I put so much love into making the pistachio milk, it was actually tasting so good. And it's interesting to me because when I was reading the instructions of how to make the milk, it said drink it within the next 5 days. But again, when I go and buy, for example, almond milk at a grocery store, that almond milk can last for a month sometimes. And notice the difference, because one has all this artificial and chemical stuff inside, even though it's almond milk and we think it's healthy, yet when I make it at home, it can only last for 5 days. So that makes me realize how much even our healthy foods are there. We bought into that culture as well, thinking that it's healthy, thinking that that's the best choice we can make, when in reality, yes, it's a better choice, but still there's chemicals in there that are not very healthy for us. And if you notice, when we eat processed food, when we eat those types of food, we're actually more hungry, right? Have you noticed when you eat like chips or candy, you're more hungry, so we end up eating more anyway. And on the other side, eating healthy will actually make you feel more full. It will make you feel like more energetic, not only more full, but more energy as well to go about your day. And I want you to know that the fountain of youth, the true fountain of youth exists within us. This vessel carries so much power. Our body, our energy carries so much power. And that vessel is also between our 2 ears, our brain, inside of our brain too. The way we look at life, the way we think, our outlook in life, loving ourselves. This is so important. Loving ourselves, respecting ourselves, because only if we love and respect ourselves, we can make the shift. We can make choices like that, because it's all a habit. And for us to change a habit, we have to realize how much our body is important to us, how much our health is important to us. And we're at a point that right now we're so advanced as a culture, we're so advanced that we can live a healthy and long life. And some people may say, Despina, that will take a lot of willpower for me to do, right? I hear that. And from my personal experience, it really doesn't take a lot of willpower, because when we decide that something is important for us, then all of the sudden, certain decisions we make change. And I'm telling you guys, it's so easy. I used to even smoke cigarettes. And I made that change from one day to the other. I stopped cold turkey because it's all a decision. Because when you decide within you that you are worth more than that unhealthy habit, then you don't need willpower. The power of your brain is unbelievable. The power of your spirit is unbelievable. So I want you to remember that. And that's the reason I'm doing this video, because it is so important for us to remember. I'm telling you guys. And it's all a decision, because when you decide that you love yourself so much, you will make that choice. You will make that choice intuitively. And all the holistic tools are out there right now. I'm not a holistic doctor, but there's plenty of holistic doctors if you want to explore a more holistic approach as far as how to feed your body with herbs and Chinese medicine and all that stuff. On the other hand, I practice a holistic approach when it comes to our energy. I can guide you with your energy through meditation, through chakras, because chakras are a pathway to freedom. And again, that's why I have my course, because I can direct you with that. I've done that with myself. I am living proof of healing energetically your body as well. And that's why I have my course, so I can direct you with that. But also, you can go ahead and make your research and find a holistic doctor as well that can also direct you as far as herbs, as far as all that stuff. And when we practice that, when we start stacking our odds to our favor, little by little, habit by habit, for me, that's a blessed life. For me, that's a blessed thing to do. And stacking up little by little, meaning our habits, a thing that I love to do right now, because I'm currently eating in a certain way that can heal my eating habits, because in the past I struggled with eating disorders. The way I love to do it right now, and it's working so well for me, is before I put something into my body, not only I learn to cook it, because when I cook, I know what's in my food. I also take the time to do a little prayer before I eat the food. I do a little meditation. Like, I fully envision all those nutrients entering my body, healing my body. I literally call the energy of Mother Earth into my body before I eat. And I become cautious of what I put into my body, because if you think about it too, when we eat a packed food, it's so fast, we don't even think about what's entering our body. We don't even think sometimes who's packing our food, who's delivering the food to the grocery places. We don't even think about that. We just go ahead and eat sometimes. So for me, just becoming present and acknowledging all those energies and thanking those energies and putting gratitude behind those energies really helps me ground myself, ground my root chakra, ground that time of eating and blessing it. Really helps me a lot with balancing that part of me, because again, we live in a culture that we promote so much of the diet stuff, right? The diet culture, it is so unhealthy for us. Again, with our body, we have to look this way. Oh, men have to have abs, women have to have this hourglass figure. It is so unhealthy for us. so unhealthy for us. And so by doing that, it helps me a lot. Maybe that's something that can help you as well. And if you start stacking up those little things, then that's a blessed life. That's how we start tapping into our intuition, into our body, right? Into our brains. And when we start shifting the question as to why me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this sickness happening to me? But it doesn't really help us when we ask that question. When we start shifting that question and instead asking ourselves, what is it that I can do today to change this? What other approach I can take today to change that for myself? When we ask that, again, what we look for, we find. And because asking that question alone allows us to live up to our fullest potential, because we're taking charge, because our body is our temple. Our body is walking us to our purpose. And we are here because we're meant to manifest, because we're meant to live this fulfilled manifestation life, right? But again, sometimes because of those limited beliefs and cultures, sometimes we become walking robots and we forget how freaking powerful we are as spiritual souls. And again, our bodies, our temple, and we're meant to live a manifesting life. It's in our DNA. It belongs with us. We are part of the creation of the universe, meaning the creation of the planets, of the sun, the moon, the stars, Mother Earth. We have literally created everything that we see around us. We are part of the same energy. So how can we even doubt ourselves that we can manifest something as far as health? It's in our DNA. It belongs with us. It's an intuitive thing for us. Again, with a scar, it's something that it's natural to us. So remember, this is the purpose of this video, because I want you to remember this. And so when it comes to healing, we cannot put a price tag on our mental health or physical health. We cannot put a price tag to that. And that's why I'm not afraid to charge for my course, because there is no price tag when it comes to things like that. There's no amount of money that can, because when we're healthy, we can live a healthy life and an abundant life, because it's in our DNA. The universe wants us to be abundant. The universe wants us to be successful. The universe wants us to walk in health, to walk in balance. The universe wants that for us, but first, we have to take charge and remember that for ourselves. The amount of money I spend on holistic doctors, on coaches, on therapists, I cannot even begin to remember the amount of money I spend on these things. But you know what? For me, it is worth it. There's no price tag when it comes to these things, because I live such a blessed life, such a healthy life. And that's why I'm manifesting everything I'm manifesting into my life, because I'm not limiting myself when it comes to price tag, when it comes to something that's as far as money, because money, again, is energy. We're meant to be abundant, even with money, when it comes to that way. And being healthy today, in today's culture, is being portrayed as something that is complex, when in reality it's not. Is really not anything complex. Again, it's within us. And we just need to educate ourselves. We just need to educate ourselves to remember how powerful we are in our energy, how powerful we are as spiritual souls. And being healthy is actually something very simple. I hope this video guide you to remember how powerful we are. Guide you to remember the power of your body, the power of food, the power of nature, the power of everything that we see around us, and sometimes we take advantage. If you found that this video has benefited you in some sort of way, please like this video, share this video with somebody that is going through something right now and needs to hear this message. Again, I'm on a mission to spread awareness of how powerful we are. So by you liking, by you sharing, by you commenting on this video, really helps me spread that message out there. I love you all so much. Until next time, remember the power you have within you. Bye-bye. Mwah.